Hi everybody, I'm Emma and this is Emma Rosen Books. I wanted to do the 25 bookish facts about me. Number 1, I've only ever been to one book signing and it was Terry Pratchett in Plymouth. I can't remember which of his books it was for, but I was buying a book for my dad, whichever one it was. I think it was Thud, but maybe not, I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't actually remember meeting Terry Pratchett, although obviously I did. I just remember that there was a guy in the queue who was dressed as the Terminator. Number 2, my first ever book, the first book I ever read all by myself was The Owl and the Pussycat. Well, the first one I remember, I probably did some kind of the cat is on the mat thing. But the first proper book I remember was The Owl and the Pussycat. 3, I don't keep books. I went through a massive phase while I was pregnant with my youngest, when I panicked that I was going to have 3 children and I had to fit them all into my house, and I started to clear stuff out and I got really into decluttering, and I would love to make a video about that at some point. But basically I don't keep books unless I think I'm going to read them again. Otherwise I just read them, pass them on. Number 4, I once dropped a book in some gravy and it stained my book. 5, the first book I ever DNF'd was Flower Babies. I remember being really gutted that I couldn't finish it. I very, very rarely actually don't finish a book because I will just keep on ploughing through it because I feel like I've started, so I have to finish. But I remember that of just being like, do you know what, I can't carry this on, because I just thought it was a bit lame. Number 6, I'm not loyal to any particular genre. I'll read whatever you got. 7, I don't like Charles Dickens. I've tried, but I studied Oliver Twist at school, so that was probably the first one that I read, and I didn't really understand about Dickens being a social reformer. I wish I'd have had that explained to me, because I would have had a lot more respect for what he wrote. And then I have tried since to read his books, and much as I respect what he's trying to do and I understand what his books meant at the time, I just can't stay engaged in his writing style, and I find it really, really tough going reading his books. Number 8, I'd love to have an arc of something and be like one of the first people to read it. I mean, I don't know what, and I should really apply to get more, but yeah, that would be cool. Number 9, I buy secondhand books mostly. I hardly ever buy new books. It's really only if I can't get hold of it secondhand, so if it's new or quite rare, that I'll buy it new. Basically, I don't have the money to buy loads of new books, and it feels a bit ironic, I guess, given that I am writing a book and I'm hoping that people are going to buy that book, that I don't really buy books. But I think a lot of us on BookTube don't buy loads of new books, so it's just the way it is. Well, I think a lot of people in general don't buy new books. I do buy some, but yeah. Number 10, I have been through several self-imposed reading bans, because when I really get into reading, it gets in the way of doing other things. So, for instance, when I did my bachelor's degree and when I did my master's degree, anytime I was working on an assignment, I would ban myself from reading, because if I didn't, then I just wouldn't get any work done. And then when it was the holidays, I would just binge read. So yeah, there have been big, long months and months of my life when I've not read anything. Number 11, I read Potter late because it just didn't come out till I was in my late teens, so I didn't grow up with it like some people did. I can remember when people started reading it when I was in sixth form at school, suddenly noticed people reading the first one, and then I didn't get into it until later when I was at university. I still loved it and I caught up. Number 12, I once managed to break a book because I was cycling to a friend's house. In fact, I was with her, we were both cycling, and I had a bag of all my stuff. I was going to stay at her house and have a sleepover, so I had a bag of all my bits and pieces, a carrier bag on my handlebars of my bike, and the bag got caught in the spokes of my front wheel, and it was the book that was actually in the part of the bag that got stuck, and it absolutely ripped my book to pieces. And I can remember that it was Murder Most Royal by Jean Plaidy, which I have had to buy another copy of, which is not easy because it's out of print. Number 13, I still own a fair few books from my childhood that my kids now have, including that copy of The Owl and the Pussycat. Number 14, I used to absolutely love fantasy and sci-fi. It was pretty much all I read until I was in my early 20s. I still really like it, I just also read other things now. 15, I go through phases of reading loads of audiobooks, well, listening to. At the moment, I'm listening to podcasts more, so I do still listen to stuff, it's just not books. 16, my favourite book when I was a kid, or series of books, was the Just William series. I loved them. My mum used to read them to me, and that she used to do all the voices, and the character Violet with the "I'll scream until I'm thick." She used to always do that. It used to crack me up. And the bit when William is pretending to be Columbus and discovering America, and like all of the boys are lying on the floor pretending to be America, it used to crack me up. 17, I don't like to annotate or write on books. I don't even really write my name on it if I lend it to somebody. I just got rid of my copy of Mice and Men, which I had as my GCSE text, which had been annotated, and basically I couldn't read it because it had writing on it and it annoyed me too much. 18, I would rather read the book before the film because I'd rather have the film ruined than the book ruined. 19, my favourite books at the moment, I have made a video about this before and this has changed a little bit even since then. The Politics of Breastfeeding I love. I mean, that was such an inspiration to me just in life. It was really life-changing. Plus, bearing in mind I'm writing a book about breastfeeding, like that book was a huge inspiration to me in that as well. If I was going for like a serious book, I loved All the Light We Cannot See. That has got to be one of my top books, which I did a review of recently. And then if I was in a silly mood, because I do like a funny book, I love The Princess Bride so much. 20, I hardly ever get books out of the library because I am so rubbish at remembering to take them back. I have pretty much funded the British Library Service because I'm forever being fined, so I don't really get books out of the library anymore because I can't be trusted. 21, I can't bring myself to read 50 Shades of Grey. There's a part of me that's curious and just thinks like I want to know how terrible it is, but I can't. I just can't. 22, I have stopped reading before bed as a regular thing because I found that I associated it so much with sleep that it would just mean that every time I read a book I would fall asleep, basically. So now, I do it sometimes as a treat, but it is not a regular thing. However, number 23, I read in the bath almost every time I have a bath. 24, I try to force my kids to read my favourite books. I like force my favourite childhood books on them. For instance, I tried to get my son to read the Just William books and he thought they were really boring and couldn't get into them. Sometimes it works out, like he really loved Carbonell, which was one of my favourite books, and there have been others that he's read and really enjoyed. My daughter at the moment is reading Alice in Wonderland, which is really lovely. I've got a nice illustrated version, so she's enjoying looking at the pictures along with it, and it's nice to see her discovering that book. And number 25, I'm in a little book club with some of my friends, and basically we don't really talk about the books. We do read them, but yeah, we talk about them for like 10 minutes and spend the rest of the time gossiping and eating loads of treats. It's great. Light book club, or snack club as we generally refer to it. I hope that you've liked this video. Please press the like button if you did. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more bookish and writing content. Leave me a comment if you'd like to, and I'll see you all for my next one. Bye!